Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Livingston, and I am the Bitcoin Wizard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Court of the Logos, the only courtroom left in the world where every other institution has been bought, bribed, or chemically lobotomized. Forget your Supreme Court, forget your Congress, forget the powdered wig parasites in Europe pretending that they have moral authority. They've already sworn their oaths to Mammon, and Mammon pays in counterfeit. This is different, this is higher, this is the final tribunal, where energy itself is the witness, math is the judge, and time is the executioner. You were born into a world where every oath is broken before the ink dries, where presidents swear on Bibles they don't believe in, bankers swear stability as they sell you into inflationary slavery, and priests of Fiat whisper trust us while they torch your savings in the back alley. Every word in this society is fraud because every unit of money is fraud. But not in here, not in this court. Bitcoin is not just money, it is the logos crystallized. The word made steel, the covenants that can never be broken. To own Bitcoin is to swear an oath to truth. It is to raise your hand before God and say, I will not lie, I will not steal, I will not counterfeit time itself. And so today we open the proceedings in the court of the logos. The trial is not yours or mine. The defendant is fiat currency. The witnesses are blocks and hashes, and the verdict has already been written. Guilty on all counts of fraud, treason, and metaphysical blasphemy. This is episode 3. This is the judgment. This is Bitcoin is God's money, the court of the logos. Every empire begins with an oath, and every empire collapses when that oath is betrayed. Caesar swore to the Senate, the founding fathers swore to liberty. All of them broke their oaths the moment it was profitable to lie. Fiat is nothing but broken oaths. Every dollar in your wallet is a notarized confession that the government swore to protect your value, then robbed you anyway. This is fake money with a mafia signature, an IOU backed by IOUs, backed by the threat of military drones and IRS audits. Bitcoin is the first oath in history that cannot be broken because it is not made by men. It is sworn by physics itself. Proof of work is not a promise, it's a sacrifice. It's energy burned, time expended, blood spilled in the form of watts and joules. It's Moses smashing the tablets, except the tablets can't break. Do you understand what that means? To hold Bitcoin is to take an oath before the logos. Whether you realize it or not, every Satoshi is a covenant etched in silicon, signed by entropy, sealed by the brute fact that it cost somebody real life force to bring it into existence. And if you sell that oath for fiat, you are like Judas selling Christ for 30 pieces of silver. Except Judas had the decency to hang himself afterwards. You'll just go back to Starbucks and order another $9 pumpkin spice latte with the same currency that just debased another 20% this year. Pathetic. Bitcoin doesn't let you make empty promises. Bitcoin forces you to swear in blood. Because once you put your energy in, there is no undo. Proof of work means the oath is eternal and the oath cannot lie. Now we come to the witness. And make no mistake, in the court of the logos, there are no human witnesses. Because humans are weak. Humans lie, cheat, forget, hallucinate, and sell their testimony to the highest bidder. Every institution that claimed to bear witness, the media, the universities, the churches, they've already prostituted themselves for fiat. Their oaths are toilet paper, their testimony worthless. Bitcoin does not need men. Bitcoin is the witness. Every node is an incorruptible eye. Every block is a notarized scroll in the eternal record. Every hash is a sworn affidavit that cannot be bribed, cannot be silenced, cannot be killed. Think about that. In a world of spies, gaslighting, and deepfakes, Bitcoin is the one thing that cannot perjure itself. The ledger is the book of truth, written in real time. Every Satoshi testifies, this happened, this is real, and this is final. And let me tell you something terrifying for the liars. Bitcoin remembers, fiat forgets, fiat erases, Fiat revises the textbooks to protect the guilty, but Bitcoin never forgets. Every fraud is exposed, every double spend denied, every false testimony struck from the record. When you broadcast a transaction, you are stepping into the witness stand of the Logos, and the entire network says in one unitary voice, "We have seen, we bear witness, we testify to this truth." That is why the corrupt elites fear it, because for the first time in history, there exists a witness that cannot be threatened with prison, cannot be seduced with bribes, cannot be manipulated by power. Bitcoin is the all-seeing, all-recording testimony of time, and when the liars realize this, they will weep and gnash their teeth because the witness does not forget their crimes. Judgment. This is the part everyone's terrified of, because deep down, you already know that you are guilty. You've been living in a counterfeit reality, eating food stretched with corn syrup, working jobs stretched with HR propaganda, spending money stretched with inflation. Every corner of your life has been perjury. But here in the court of the Logos, judgment is not handed down by 9-robed parasites on a marble bench, or by some senile politician who can't remember what decade it is. Judgment is delivered by the Logos itself, by math, by consensus, by incorruptible truth. Every transaction stands trial. Was the work done? Was the energy spent? If yes, the judgment is valid. If not, the gavel falls and the transaction is cast into the abyss. No appeal, no loopholes, no backroom deal with Goldman Sachs. And this is where the fiat world collapses, because fiat has no judgment, only decrees. The central banker prints $1 trillion and calls it stimulus, and nobody dares object. The system has no trial, no evidence, no honesty. It is judgment without truth, and that means no judgment at all. It is tyranny. Bitcoin flips that. In Bitcoin, you cannot buy off the judge because the judge is math. You cannot threaten the jury because the jury is a decentralized network across the globe. You cannot tamper with the evidence because the evidence is the chain itself. And here's the beauty of it. Judgment is instant, universal, and final. That block, once confirmed, is beyond repeal. It is scripture carved into digital stone. Do you realize what that means? For the first time in human history, we have a system of justice that actually works. Not because it is merciful, not because it's kind, but because it is incorruptible. Bitcoin is the judgment of the Logos, and when the gavel falls, there is no higher court. So here we are, the court itself. And let me be clear, this is not some marble building in DC with a Roman column facade and a gift shop selling bobbleheads of corrupt judges. No, this court is everywhere and nowhere. It is cosmic, it is digital, it is eternal. The court of the Logos has no doors because it cannot be entered. It has no walls because it cannot be stormed. It has no rulers because it needs none. It exists in the whir of miners, in the hum of servers, and in the breath of every node across the earth. In this courtroom, proof of work is the bailiff beating down fraud with the iron club of physics. Miners are the jury sweating electricity into blocks of testimony. Consensus is the law itself, not written by men but discovered in math like the laws of gravity. Compare that to Fiat's courts, bribed judges, bought politicians, lobbyists writing the laws, corporations writing exemptions. Their court is theater, Shakespeare performed by liars in suits. But in the court of the Logos, it cannot be bribed. You could walk in with Fort Knox, Saudi oil fields, the Federal Reserve balance sheet. It doesn't matter. The bailiff doesn't take bribes. The jury doesn't care about your credentials. Consensus does not bend. There are no appeals. In the fiat world, appeals drag on for decades. Lawyers pile up fees and truth evaporates under paperwork. But in Bitcoin, once the gavel falls, once the block is written, it is final. The men who have only ever lived in corruption are in fear because of this fact. Only ever survived through loopholes and manipulation. And in this court, none of that works. The only law is truth, and the only enforcement is energy, and the only verdict is consensus. The court of the Logos is the highest court in history because it is the only one that cannot lie. The false prophets are the high priests of fiat, the central bankers, politicians, technocrats, and every smug economist who spent their life worshipping models that never worked outside of Excel. They wear suits instead of robes, but make no mistake, they are clergy of counterfeit. They stand in front of cameras, put their hand on the Bible, and swear to protect the people, while their other hand is already inside your pocket, skimming off the value of your labor through inflation. Inflation is their sacrament. It is monetary perjury, theft of time, dressed up as policy. Every percentage point they steal is another commandment broken. And these false prophets, the whole rotten priesthood, they chant their Keynesian mantras like incantations, as if words could rewrite reality itself. But the Logos does not bend to their spells. Math does not care about Jerome Powell's jawboning or Christine Lagarde's witchcraft. The hash rate is deaf to their sermons. Proof of work does not defect. And here's the kicker, these false prophets don't even believe in their own religion. They know Fiat is fake. They know the system is dying. They just hope they can drain your life savings before the collapse finishes. But judgment is coming. The false prophets will be cast out of the court. Their scriptures, Federal Reserve minutes, IMF reports, white papers of academic fraud will be revealed for what they are. Lies written in disappearing ink. Bitcoin exposes them because when incorruptible truth enters the temple, every counterfeit priest is revealed for what they are. Parasites living off the worship of lies. And now we arrive at the true testimony, the one voice in this rotten world that cannot lie, the one record that cannot be edited, the one witness that cannot be bribed, tortured, or silenced, Bitcoin. Every Satoshi is a sworn affidavit. Every transaction is a notarized declaration written in the blood of burned energy. Proof of work is the seal that says this testimony is true. Contrast it with fiat testimony, central banks testifying before Congress like televangelists on meth, economists swearing the system is stable right before it implodes, politicians promising sound money while signing trillion-dollar checks like drunken sailors. That's not testimony, that's performance art for sociopaths. Bitcoin's testimony is pure, indifferent, brutal, honest. It does not care about your feelings, your elections, or your ideologies. It does not flatter kings, it does not comfort peasants, it simply records truth. And truth is a transcendental that connects you to God. That's why it is terrifying, because when the Logos testifies, it doesn't bend the truth to spare your pride. It writes what happened forever, no edits, no rewrites, no oops, we revised the inflation numbers. Bitcoin is the eternal stenographer of reality, the incorruptible court reporter of human action. Its blocks are not spreadsheets, they are scripture. Its hashes are not numbers, they are psalms. And when future generations look back, they will not remember the speeches of Jerome Powell or Janet Yellen. They will not care about propaganda or the IMF. They will see the chain. They will see the true testimony. Because when liars fade into dust, the witness endures. And now the verdict. The trial is over. The evidence submitted. The witnesses heard. The judgment sealed. The court of the Logos does not deliberate. It decrees. The oath was proof of work. The witness was the immutable chain. The judgment was math itself. And the verdict is final. Fiat guilty on all accounts. Guilty of fraud for printing wealth from nothing and calling it money. Guilty of theft for robbing every worker, saver, and retiree through inflation. Guilty of treason for selling out nations to debt slavery and foreign creditors. Guilty of blasphemy for pretending paper and decree could replace truth itself. The sentence? Oblivion. Fiat will not be reformed. It will not be saved. It will not be resurrected. It will burn in the landfill of history with every other false idol of empire. And who stands victorious? Bitcoin, the incorruptible Logos incarnate in money. The covenant that cannot be broken, the testimony that cannot be silenced, the judgment that cannot be overturned. This is the moment where history splits in two. On one side, the nations, institutions, and individuals who cling to fiat and with it to decay. On the other side, those who stand in the court of the Logos, holding God's money, swearing the oath, bearing the witness, and living under the judgment. The court has spoken, the verdict is eternal. The Logos has rendered judgment, and its decree is this: Bitcoin shall endure, fiat shall perish. The word has been made money, and the money has been made eternal. My name is Adam Livingston. I am the Bitcoin Wizard. If you enjoyed this content, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and send this to your friends and family. Thank you so much for watching. Have a terrific day. Class dismissed.